Hmm. Well, not really sure how much time I have on this. I thought the memory was shot on my phone, but something apparently it's not altogether shot. Um, well, if I was the leader of some country, okay, so the whole thing about what's going on with Taiwan, that China's now putting troops in or putting military stuff into Cuba, and has been putting military stuff into Cuba. The part about it is, if I was China, I would be cute about it. The minute it gets brought up, I would just say like something like, with like some ridiculous kind of extra accented accent. I'd be like, Taiwan March, or something. I would have to do things like that. Oh my gosh, yeah. So I found out, if you are somebody who's sensitive to heat, that if you get too hot, you can start getting weird like like acne practically from the heat. But I mean, I didn't realize how sensitive to heat I was until I took a job where I'm like in tremendous amounts of heat, like almost the entire time. On that front, wanted to make sure to mention, expect for things to get bad, real bad. So now this is something, okay, now this is coming to me. Powell Street. A bunch of you are seeing videos from San Francisco, California of Powell Street where the cable cars turn around. Okay, that's no joke that there's nothing left there. The fact that there's nothing in downtown San Francisco, that's not funny. Okay, that was so within a 10-minute walk, you should be at JP Morgan. You should be at Bechtel. You should be at, if you can name the financial institution, it's there. Remember, you might have seen that there was a story about a place called, like, One California or something like that. That One California street is like they handed over the keys to the lenders. That's the JP Morgan building. That's like the most powerful financial institutions in San Francisco, California are in that building. Well, they were. They're not in that building now. So this is bad. Like knowing what San Francisco once looked like, those images and all that news, this is bad. Like way bad. I've never imagined. Okay, so I was there during the big earthquake. So I've seen San Francisco at total disaster mode, complete and total disaster, where people are smashed under freeways. Nothing like what I'm seeing and hearing about the place. One of our buddies who's here, he probably will put something into the comments. Alex for a while had a job that had him in San Francisco about 3 years ago. He started telling me about what traversing the city was like at that time. Nothing, I've never experienced it. This was when we used to jump each other, and you had to watch out like for turf and territory and who was going to jump off a bus or who's going to jump off a train and fuck with you and try to steal your shit. Even with that being the reality of that period of time in the 1990s, everything I'm seeing about San Francisco, this is like Mad Max compared to the 1990s. This is total insanity. This is like New York in San Francisco, and that was the thing. New Yorkers would tell us about New York in the 1990s, and when we were in San Francisco, they'd be like, y'all niggas are not hard. And we would hear about it, and we would, yes, we are not hard. Now San Francisco is fucking banarnars. It's the whole fleet of bananar boats. It's endless. It's a land of endless bananar splits. I mean, this is unreal. All those stores being closed, those are like where you would get top of the line purses, electronics. Like before this was chintzy shit. You would get like the stuff that kind of fell off a truck. You know, there's a lot of, oh yeah, cousin, how much money do you have, cousin? You know, kind of guys, but not for a while. Like that, it hasn't been like that for some time. And yeah, so expect things to get worse. When on the job front, one of the things is that I'm seeing people they will hire you. They will hire you fast. They will give you a lot of money for anything now. It is now at the stage that employees simply just never show up again. They could be there for months. One day they just get an offer they can't refuse. Why? Because even what you would think would be the most stable, low skill, jobs that you would have plenty of hours. You couldn't even imagine how, of all things, like this kind of work, everybody is cutting hours now. Nobody's numbers are adding up. Nobody's numbers are adding up. That's the only way I could put it. Some of you kind of understand what I do, so so you know what I must be seeing happen. I'm seeing the profits walk out the door, and so people are being cut, and now it's getting to this point that you're actually having, because of the losses, businesses are suffering because of then that the market has changed. There's not as much, that the economy's down in this regard of selling goods and services, but also it is raw loss of profits. One of the things that's coming of this is then you have to have fewer people doing the job. So when demand for service spikes, you don't have the people to do it. And then on top of it, what's probably happened is at some point, the demand was low, service spiked, every crew goes home like, wow, what a busy day, but hey, we did it once, we could do it again. Next month, somebody gets like 4 of their hours out of an 8-hour shift cut. And that's very normal now. That's very, very normal. The idea, people who manage departments might be shrunk back to part-time. That I've seen that happen. I actually had somebody tell me about that the person who was managing a department was like, yeah, I'm part-time now. They cut me back. And I'm like, what? You manage the department though? I don't know how it works. It's bad. Things are going to get bad. And so now we're also seeing the Sam Bankman-Fried basically gets off. Nobody's even covering it. Now we're really seeing that all the legacy media now is one big unit. And so really what we're starting to see is this is now the time where a lot of people on the right have to face. There's a whole bunch of cuckolded old men who are shit libs, but this is women. This is entirely them. Because Turley just nailed it. He's like, being Trump is what his crime was. His crime was existing. His crime was existing while he was him. And anybody, you met who they just don't like him, they just don't like him. And when at some point you kind of think about it and you're like, no, this person doesn't like men who stand up for themselves. This person doesn't like rich people. This person is uncomfortable around people, who wear nice shoes. It's like your friend who doesn't like nice shoes doesn't like Donald Trump. Your friend who has bastards, he doesn't like Donald Trump. The women who don't like, dealing with they need to hit the gym, they don't like Donald Trump. So we're starting to see that it's like there's sort of this part of the culture, and then that part of the culture is looking at young men who are following I'm going to put myself through my own boot camp, fuck your college, and and they're like, oh, they're going to become the next Schutzstaffel if they keep doing chin-ups and reading books and don't listen to rather incompetent people at a diploma mill. And so it's kind of fun now to see how this is lining up, on how the culture is starting to line up along kind of two lines of battle. But one of the most interesting things to me now is he's a real nigga, though. Donald Trump is a real nigga, though. Then when black men saying, of course I'm going to vote for Trump, he's a real nigga, though. That's a way bigger deal than people might think right now.